What's up, everybody? Just making a quick video to address the fact that we're, I guess, going to be inundated with 3.5 more years at this point. 3.5 more years of media lies, propaganda, hate, and vitriol from the left. And it's really disheartening. It's like, what are y'all hoping to accomplish? You know, it's sad because Americans should be feeling pretty good right now about everything. They really should. Like, everybody should. It's like, since Trump has taken office, what are these horrible things that have happened? It's crazy. Like, they've been spewing lie after lie. And just like the last time he was president, they lie, fearmonger, spread all this propaganda. Then their claims turn out to be false. The stuff they predicted doesn't happen. And they just move on to the next lie, like nothing ever happened. Like, they just keep going. They just keep pushing the next lie. So, like, think about this, people. What happened to all the prices going up because of the tariffs? What happened to that? Remember the, oh, you're not gonna be able to afford anything anymore. The prices are gonna double. This and that. Never happened. It never happened. The tariffs worked exactly like they were meant to work. But the media, every mainstream media other than Fox, they hate Trump so much and they're so dead set against him that they can't even tell the truth to the public. Like, all their fear mongering was reckless and irresponsible in the first place. Like, anytime something happens, like anytime there's a law passed or proposed or anything, there's going to be differing opinions and predictions by the so-called experts. You're going to have experts that say it's going to do this, and other experts that say it's going to do that. That's just predictions. Like, you don't really know for sure, especially if it's something that hasn't been done before or on a different scale. But the media, though, they constantly just ignore all the positive possibilities, and they just push the extreme worst possibilities and pretend like that's a fact. They present it as factual, like this is what's going to happen for sure, not, well, this is what some experts are predicting, while other experts are saying that's not going to happen. See, that's what the news should do, is give you a neutral perspective and information and tell you that there's more than one possible outcome. So, but that's not what they do. They fearmonger and they push lies and propaganda, and they present opinions as truth and facts. And so now that didn't happen, they just move on to the next thing. And then they can't even stomach giving good news. Like the jobs report came out, and it was way better than projected. But guess what the headlines were, though? They weren't, the economy is doing much better than expected, way better than we claimed it would be. They don't tell you that. What they say is, next year, it could be bad economy. It could be a loss of jobs next year. That's not even responsible journalism. That's not even a story. Just because, like I said, you're always going to have analysts and so-called experts making predictions all up and down the scale of possibilities. So why is the media choosing to pick the absolute worst, most negative possibility and run headlines on that and report that as fact? It's like, it's crazy. And then now you have these horrible floods that happened in Texas. And a lot of people died, including a lot of children. I mean, it's tragic. But here comes the Democrats and the media. Like, they have never met a disaster that they won't politicize. They never have. Any disaster, if a Republican's in power, they're going to immediately politicize it and blame it on the Republican. Like, to blame Trump for a flood, do you realize how insane that is? He can't fucking control the weather. Like, are y'all crazy? And then claiming, oh, yeah, the cuts, he cut the National Weather Service staffing, and so that's why they weren't ready for the flood. It's pure lies. It's pure lies. First of all, the reduction in staff, they did not reduce any meteorologist or any of the people who are actually responsible for predicting and analyzing the weather. None of them got cut. The fact is, the National Weather Service performed at normal capacity leading up to this flood. Like they did their analysis. They actually had extra meteorologists on staff leading up to it because there was, a weather event coming. So they actually had more meteorologists than normal leading up to this flood. You can only do so much to predict the weather. The weather people do the best they can, but it's the weather. When in our history has the National Weather Service or anyone else been able to accurately predict everything that's going to happen with the weather? When? Never. Never. And then, of course, there's the duplicity. Of course, no one blamed Biden for the hurricane that hit the Carolinas. Like he could have predicted exactly what was going to happen. They didn't say, oh, it's his fault people died. No. Biden got criticized for his response after the hurricane. Biden got criticized for using billions of FEMA money to put up illegals in luxury hotels and then turning around and telling the people in Carolina he didn't have any money for them. That's what he properly got criticized for. FEMA got criticized for, I think it was in Florida, skipping houses that had Trump signs in the yard. Literally, purposely denied aid and service to people who supported Trump. Those are things you should get criticized for. Those things are unacceptable. But they know Trump didn't do any of that. Like he's never done that. That's never happened under Trump, where his FEMA workers purposely skip houses of people that support his opposition. That's never happened. He's never slow walked aid to a disaster area. Never happened. So they have to make stuff up to criticize him for, of course. So they're going to stand on the bodies of these poor innocent victims and use that as a platform to blame Trump and to try to tear him down. It's disgusting. It's evil. It's despicable. The left is so consumed with hate. It is unbelievable. And the projection is next level. They're the only ones who spread hate for their opposition. They're the only ones. You don't see conservatives go around saying that they hope people on the left die, and that if an area that's a predominantly Democrat area, if there's a disaster there and all these people die, they don't celebrate it and say that's what you get because you vote for so and so. They don't. Now they might say, the disaster was worse than it should have been because your Democrat leadership did not take the steps they could have taken. They say that because that's a factual thing to say. And if Trump had actually not taken the steps he was supposed to take or could have taken, then you would have a legitimate criticism of him, and you wouldn't hear no argument from me. But the reality is there's nothing anyone could have done more than what they did to prevent the tragedy of this flood. I mean, you can't 100% accurately predict everything that's going to happen in a weather event. It's just you do your best you can. The National Weather Service issued a flood watch the day before it hit, and then as soon as they detected that it's gotten worse and it could be worse, they sent out the warnings. And they were in the middle of the night. They can't predict and control when the weather decides to escalate. You see what I'm saying? Like it's ludicrous. If Trump had not done anything to the National Weather Service, things would have gone exactly the same way they did. Nothing would have been different. So to blame him for it is just evil and despicable. And the disrespect to the lives lost by using their death and their tragedy to twist it and spin it to use it to harm Trump is disgusting. You people are sick and evil who do that. You are despicable. No words can describe how low down y'all are. Peace.